My father was a pastor who had an affair with his wife and began sleeping with my mother and got her pregnant. And that's where my life, your girl trap, that's how my life came about. Okay? I'm an affair baby.
My mother is a gold digger, and she just did nothing but very successful men. She had 3 children.
I am my father's affair child. Get ready with me, story time.
Hello, beautiful people. I am Mary Jane. Welcome to Net Voices. Today's video is about affair babies, a child born as a result of extramarital relationship. Some people call affair babies love child, illegitimate child, B child. The cheating parents sometimes hide the child because it's the evidence of their lies, secrets, and poor decision. Affair babies sometimes find themselves alone, navigating life, dealing with the secrecy and the betrayal surrounding their birth. Here's a footage of affair babies sharing their stories.
Being an affair baby feels like being an orphan child. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm an affair baby. My name is Tra. Hey. My father was a pastor who was legally married to his wife, who had a relationship with my mother, who in turn had me. Okay? And I'm here to let y'all know that being an affair baby feels the same to me, I feel, as being an orphan. Why? Because from the time that I was born, my father was absent. He was in my life very rarely, vaguely. The last memory I had of my father was when I was like 5 or 6. Then the other last from 5 and 6 to when I turned 18, my mother made it a responsibility for us to meet our father when we were going on vacation to where I was born, Los Angeles, California. She made it like y'all, since we going to Los Angeles, California, y'all should check on your pops. And I was like, okay, let's check on our pops. 18 years young, the last time I saw my father. I can't remember. And then shortly after that, my mother abandoned me in a foreclosed house. Prior to that, my mother was very verbally abusive, physically abusive, mentally abusive. And I feel like maybe she acted that way because she probably really didn't want to have me. She probably didn't want to continue with the pregnancy. I'm going to say allegedly because that's how I feel. And growing up, she used to always say to me, I should have closed my legs when I had you. I should never had you. She said it to me every time when she get angry. And me and my mother been cool lately. We've been talking, so I hope I don't offend her by being as vocal as I'm being. But if I do offend her, fuck it, because this is my life. But that's really how I feel. Being an affair baby feels, to me, feels like being an orphan child. An orphan child, an orphan is a child who didn't have a father or mother. It feels that way. And I will say my mother did try her best. But my life had a lot of abuse. And I'll be real. I don't care who feelings I hurt, because my feelings is hurt. And that's why I'm talking about it. I'm getting the shit out. But all in all, I love my peoples. And I love my mama. I love my daddy. I love God. Period. I'm going to leave that there. I'm done. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. I love you.
I am my father's affair child. Get ready with me, story time. So my mom didn't know my dad was married, and when she found out, she instantly broke it off, but she was already pregnant. So of course, my mother decided to have me, and honestly, she's been a great mom to me. I have no complaints. My relationship with my father is okay. He does take me out on the weekends. He does visit for holidays, but I've never really lived with him. I remember one day when I was younger, I had to go to my father's house because my mom got extremely sick. So I was there for a couple of hours. And I remember the moment that I got there, my dad's wife started yelling at him, and I had to actually separate myself from her because of how upset she was. So I was literally in a bedroom away from her. To this day, I have no idea why she was extremely upset. I can assume that she was upset because I was there, but it's not my fault that they had a baby and he cheated on her. Like, this has nothing to do with me. I'm sorry. Not to mention, can you really be upset because you knew he cheated and he had a kid and you're still with him? So my mom explained the cheating situation to me when I got older, and I realized how weird their situation was compared to how my other friends' parents got divorced. I don't know, not to compare, but it was just very weird. I do have my opinions on their situation, but honestly, he's my dad, so I try not to think much about it. I know my dad's wife hates him and is the reason why I can't see my dad anymore. And honestly, she has a reason to be mad, but also screw her. Anyway, a couple months ago, my dad actually started asking me if I wanted to spend the whole weekend with him, which honestly to me was very weird, was very sus, because his girl never wanted me around. She hated me. I had questions. I responded to him and I told him I would be okay spending the whole weekend with him as long as it's not at his house. He said his wife wants me to come and how she has a change of heart. And I immediately said no. It was very sus to me. It was very weird. I knew there was something going on at this point. So that weekend passed by, and then the following weekend came up and me and my dad had plans to go eat lunch. The weird thing is his wife actually wanted to tag along, which is again weird because she never used to. So what changed? She ended up coming to this lunch with my father and I, and honestly I wasn't really a fan of her being there, but I was also just trying to keep my calm, just trying to be nice. I didn't need to be nice, but I chose to be nice, okay? There at least has to be one mature one here. At the lunch, she basically told me how important I am to my father, especially now because they can't have kids, and how she wants to make it up to me. She asked if she can be my stepmom, and I was like, you want me to let you be my stepmom after everything you put me through? Absolutely not. It made me really upset, and honestly, I have the right to be upset. My whole life, she made it extremely difficult to see my father, and now you want to be nice? Now you want to be nice because you recently found out that you can't have kids? Wow. I'm not gonna lie, I might have let my emotions get in the way a tad bit, and I might have been a little bit of an ass to her, but I feel like she deserved it. Why, you might ask? I basically told her not being able to have kids is her karma because of how awful she treated me growing up, and I also ended up telling her that she was going to be nothing to me other than my father's wife. Lunch was over, and later on she ended up crying to my father, and my dad ended up telling me that I had to go and apologize to her because what I said was very evil and cruel, which I mean, I understand, but can you blame me? Anyway, that night was over with. I ended up going back to my mom's house, and one thing about me is I cannot hide my facial expressions. I cannot hide my emotions, so my mother knew something was wrong. I ended up telling my mother everything, and she basically told me that my dad's wife put me in an unfair situation. My mother also mentioned to me that I should probably avoid her and stop talking to her, just give her some time, give her some space, and honestly, I agree with her. I am aware that my dad's wife is going through a lot, and she is dealing with infertility, and honestly she probably isn't over things, which is why she blew up, which is understandable, but also too it's just like, why does she have to disregard my feelings because now she went through something? Like, I don't know, but to me it's just very sad and upsetting how the only reason she decided to apologize is because she found out that she wasn't able to have kids, and maybe I wasn't for it, but I feel like she kind of deserved it. I don't know, you let me know. How would you have reacted?
My family dynamic with my dad was a tricky one. My parents had an affair and had me and my brother. Growing up, it was really different. My dad was still married. He had his other family. My brother and I were never really over there. We didn't really get to know any of them until our adult years. My dad passed away in July. So with the passing of my dad, it was a really complicated situation, and I just got a package from his side of the family of stuff that he had kept of me and my brother. These little things kind of mean everything because we didn't really get much. You know, I'll never get to go to his house again. I'll never get to smell those smells. And when they sent this, it smelled like my dad. Life is a really complicated mess sometimes. Through all of it, the one thing that I've learned is just love. Love heals everything, even the most complicated of situations. Anyway, I was just gonna go through some of these basics for fun. That was little me. I'm guess I made this. I don't even remember. I hope this day is special just like you. Look how cute me and my little brother were. High school Dusty. This was my dad bringing to me when I was little. Life is short, and I miss him every day. I'm really grateful for these memories with my dad. It really puts into perspective what's truly important. Hope you guys have a great day.
Wanna know a secret since you're all chismosas? I'm an affair baby. I'm from the neighbor. Literally. Growing up, I felt like the serial love. I'm fucking adopted. Like, there's no way I'm getting treated like I ain't shit. And then, like, for what reason? Like, I felt it. One day, I think I was like 16. My mom's like crying. I have to tell you something. I was like, oh, the way she was crying, I've never seen that woman cry. The way she was fucking crying, I was like, she's gonna tell me she has cancer, that she's gonna die or something. I don't know. Well, no, she's like, well, that man that you met, I met this man like a week prior that she told me, that man you met, that's your real dad. I was like, it felt like a dream. Like, what the fuck? I was like, so that it all made sense. I'm like, oh, I felt it, bitch. Like, I felt it. Like, I thought like she wasn't my mom the way she treated me, but like I felt like I didn't belong. So yeah, this is what happened. This is what it came out of her mouth. She's like, yeah, there was this, like, back in Juarez, this neighbor that was married and had only daughters, and I had 2 sons. So, we met up, and I said, oh, I'll give you a son, since I only have sons and you only have daughters and you want a son. I'll give you a son. And boom, it was me that came out. Sorry.
I seen this video today of a dude talking about how he's an affair baby and how his siblings hate him and stuff. And as I'm watching it, I started thinking, bitch, I think I'm an affair baby. Hold on. So I called my mom and I'm like, hey mom, was I an affair baby? And she said, yep, you were. Absolutely. I said, I thought so. Then we had a little conversation after that. We just talked about a bunch of random shit after that. It's funny because she is actually the person that my dad had an affair on. My dad was married to her, my mom. He went and had an affair with somebody else. She got pregnant with me. And my mom ended up adopting me because she told him to give me to her because they couldn't take care of me anyway. She was like, yeah, fuck all this. We out of here. Yeah, ho. We out of here, ho. Me and my baby. Yeah, and that's been my girl ever since. Love her down. That's my mother. You can't tell me nothing about shit, ho. Like, that's my mama. And if you say anything about her, I'm punching you straight in your mouth. On me and on her. It's so funny. I was actually on the phone with mom this morning mad about something. And I was like, oh, you, mom. Oh, you. Who the fuck says that today, mama? But yeah, she gave me all... I guess I'm not supposed to tell y'all nothing else. Okay, bye.
So how did I end up a stepchild? My mother was married to my stepfather. He was very successful. My mother is a gold digger, and she just did nothing but very successful men. She had 3 children with her husband. They had a wedding and everything, right? Because he was highly successful in Rhodesia. And then she met my dad. He was from the Eastern Cape. He had white blood, okay, because my grandma Ntombi Zodwa married colored. The colored was half Xhosa, half white, half Irish. The Xhosa part of him was the black part. My great grandfather, the Xhosa, he knocked up a 15-year-old white girl. So my grandfather was a colored, and he married my grandmother Ntombi Zodwa, right? And so my dad is a product of a colored man and a Xhosa, a colored man who was half Xhosa, like that guy, the guy who was doing the Daily Show, except that the opposite was true. Okay, the opposite was true. The man was the Xhosa and the woman was the white woman. Okay, yeah, my grandfather has stories, horrible stories. My whatever, it doesn't matter. Now I'm getting confused. My grandfather, the colored, he has got some really horrible stories about what happened to him, in his upbringing in South Africa. Anyway, my dad was born to a colored man and a Xhosa woman, and he had the most beautiful eyes. They were like blue. I saw them myself. I saw my dad's eyes. They were like blue. He was one of those coloreds who, I don't know how to explain it. He had a lot of white features. Okay. So anyway, my mother fell for him, but it wasn't his face. It was his wallet. Okay. It was his wallet. It was the days of apartheid, the days of war, and rich South Africans, rich black South Africans were leaving South Africa. They were sending their kids to other parts, to be free, to live free and whatever. So he met my mother, because my mother was upper class, black Rhodesian. They met and she was married and had 3 kids, but my mother was a very beautiful woman, right? And my mother saw her chance to elevate herself. Yeah, she told me that. She told me. She saw her chance to elevate herself. She saw a better life for herself with my biological dad than my stepfather. So she began an affair with him, and he was going to take her to England. You know the stories that men tell when they are lying. He was going to take her to England, and they were going to be a family, and she was going to leave her kids with her husband, and she was going to be living it up because my biological father had a lot of money. So she was going to be living it up, and they were going to be good, and da-da-da. And then he left for England by himself, and he left her. So now, my dad knew about the affair, and he knew she was pregnant by my biological dad, right? And they separated. So when my mother was pregnant with me, she was separated from her husband. And then she tried to reach out to the Jola, and the Jola was ignoring her. He says he discovered her juju. He discovered that she was a witchcraft technician, because my grandmother Ntombi Zodwa is a sangoma. Well, she's dead now, but she was a sangoma. So anyway, my grandmother Ntombi Zodwa, she had something to do with that too. She was like, the woman you have chosen, she is a witchcraft technician. No. Anyway, that's my biological dad's excuse, and that's what he died with, because he's dead too, right? He died. That's the hill he died on. That she was a witchcraft technician, which wasn't a lie. Okay. So anyway, my mom separated from her husband, and then she went back to her parents to live when she was expecting me. And then my stepfather, his father, encouraged his son to forgive his wife. He told my dad, my stepdad, my dad will always be my dad. He told my dad that, imagine if you had been given a cow, you would be so happy because you've been given a cow. But guess what? You're being given a human being with a brain. the things that human being can do for you, astonishing. Thing is, my step grandfather, it was easy for him to do that because he had accepted his wife's children where she cheated on him, right? So he told his son to do the same so that he can keep his children and take, so his children can have their mother and their mother can take care of them. So my dad went to the village to get my mom. He got her because of the children, my half siblings. My stepfather really loved his kids. So he didn't want his kids to be raised by a stepmother and to suffer the way he had suffered being raised by stepmothers. So he said, I forgave your mother and I adopted you as mine because I wanted to keep my children's mother with my children. But you're not mine though. You're this dude's, okay? But you're not mine. And they proceeded to have 3 more kids after me. And I didn't get to know this whole story until I was 16. By the way, when my stepdad went back for my mom, he didn't want me in his house. So I was left with my grandmother and then I had 2 other foster mothers. I was passed around. Yeah. I wasn't left with my grandmother. My grandmother was the last one I lived with. Okay. I was passed around, not even to relatives. I was passed around, not even to relatives. I was just passed around like a rubber ball. And then finally my grandmother agreed to take me, and then she died. And after she died, there was no one to take me, and they were all looking at me like, so now who's going to take this kid? I was like 6 years old. Who's going to take this kid? And then because there was no one who wanted me, my stepfather stepped forward and said, I'll take her. He said the reason he did that was because he wanted me to be raised in the same social class as his children, because he didn't want his children to have to take care of a poor relative. His words. And he meant it. Yeah. So, yeah. So he told his kids never ever to take care of me, never to do anything for me, never to be there for me. He did tell them that. He did. And he did teach them that, right? So anyway, I only got to find all this out when I was 16, and the information was slow to come. It was really slow to come. But here I am now.
My mother had an affair 23 years ago, and my father just informed me of this and told me that he will not be paying for my college since I am technically not his. My older brother and sister went to the same college, and both of them got their entire college paid for, and I don't get that. And I'm not just talking about getting their college paid for. It was rent, it was gas, it was groceries, it was clothes. Everything was paid for. Everything. I got accepted into the same college. However, I did take a couple years off to kind of just explore the world and do what I wanted to do. But yeah, I was accepted to the same college, and I thought that I was going to get the same treatment as my brother and sister. So I figured that they had money set aside for my college the same way that they did my brother and sister. And when I asked about it, I was met with, no, your mother cheated on me and I'm no longer supporting you, so you will not be getting another dime from me. Awesome. So now it's like, what do? Do I try to ask my mom who my biological father is and sit them down and be like, why did you lie to me all of these years? And why did you treat me like I was your own this entire time, and all of a sudden you won't pay for my college, but you paid for everything else? Like, I just don't, I don't know what to do.
I am an adult outside child. What that means is that one of my parents was married and had a family and conceived me and birthed me out of wedlock. It was my father. He was the married one. My mom has a thing for married men. I don't know what to tell you. I'm also an inside child. So I call myself an inside outside child because my mother married my stepdad and they had 2 kids. And a stipulation of that marriage included him taking guardianship, legal guardianship over me. And he reminds me always, okay? A child doesn't just pick this information up out of nowhere. This man would remind me always that when he had to go meet with my dad to get my dad to sign over the guardianship of me to my stepdad, that my dad told him all the time, once you sign this, you can't return her. She's your problem now. So on the one hand, when I'd call my dad, his wife would answer and tell me never to call that number again. Mind you, I didn't ask either of these 2 adults to hunch and have me. If I could go back in time, I would have asked her to swallow. Okay? So mind you, I'm getting that from her wife. And then from her husband, I'm being told that my dad didn't even want me and he gave me away like nothing. And I'm watching both of these parents who are refusing to love and nurture me, love and nurture the kids that they had within their marriage. And both of them are gaslighting me into believing that I should be grateful just to be alive to work and pay taxes and die. I didn't even ask them to do that for me.
Affair baby is a bit of a touchy subject. Everyone involved is usually dealing with a mixed emotions. The cheating parents sometimes feel the guilt of their poor decision to cheat on their spouse and have a child. Some of them don't. They try to justify their actions. The betrayed partners sometimes find themselves in a situation where it's difficult for them to move on. It's a hard pill to swallow. The child reminds them of the broken trust, the lies, the secret, the betrayal, the pain, and the negative impacts on their biological children. The first woman that shared her story, her mom is not taking responsibility for her poor decision to sleep with a married man. You can't blame the child for your actions. No, it's wrong. The other woman that lost her father, it's sad. She's left to deal with the consequences of her parents' decision. It's not right. A child is never responsible for the circumstances of their birth. No, they have no hand in it. Affair babies pay the highest price of their parents' poor decision. They should not be blamed or punished for their parents' action. No, they are innocent. What do you all think? What are your thoughts? Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share.